All right, let's head back now to New Jersey for more testimony in the Mansion murders trial for Paul Caneiro.
The prosecutors say that Caneiro shot and killed his brother and sister-in-law, then stabbed his niece and nephew to death before burning down their mansion and his own to allegedly cover it up. On the stand right now, a close friend of the alleged victim, Keith Caneiro, on direct examination by the prosecution.
Can you describe Keith Caneiro, Jennifer Caneiro's home, based upon your having been there?
It was a big house.
Okay. Now, is there a lot of technology in there?
Yeah, Keith was very technical.
Okay. Now, did you ever have any occasion to help Keith out with things around the house?
Yeah.
Okay. What types of things did you help him out with?
We would help him out. I remember one time it was a snowstorm and we went over there to unclog his main drain for some plumbing, some issues with his pool from some of the piping, PVC pipes in his pool. We redid some of that. Just most of that. Just handy stuff, little handyman stuff around the house.
Okay. Was anyone else ever present when you were helping Keith with things around the house?
Paul.
Okay. Now, was that once or
more than once?
Okay. Was Keith handy?
No. Not. He was very technical, very smart, but he wasn't very handy when it came to things.
So were there times that he asked you for help?
Yes, lots of times.
Were there times that he asked other people for help?
Yes.
Who were those people?
I can recall Paul. He could ask for Paul for help.
Were there times that you and Paul at the same time would help Keith?
Yes.
Okay. Now, going back to that Saturday night, can you tell me if you remember what, if anything, you and Keith did for the kids after applying for the jobs on the Amazon site?
Keith and I went out to dinner.
Okay. Where'd your son and Jesse go?
They stayed at home, at my house. They were playing.
Okay. And where'd you guys go out to dinner, if you remember?
It was 618 in Freehold.
Okay. Now, taking 618 in Freehold on that Saturday night, I don't want you to tell me anything that Keith told you, but can you just describe for me, the overall demeanor of Keith at dinner that night?
He was frustrated.
Okay. And again, I don't want you to say anything that he told you specifically, but were you aware of why he was frustrated?
Yes, I did.
And
I was.
you discussed that rationale with him on other occasions as well?
I have.
Okay. Now, based upon his demeanor, were you guys still able to enjoy dinner?
Yes.
Okay. And was there a point in time when you and Keith were discussing, and again, I don't want to know what Keith told you, you were discussing future job prospects, you'd just been applying for jobs and stuff. Can you talk about that?
What specifically you?
So, yeah, maybe I should rephrase it. Did you ever have an occasion to become aware that Keith was doing anything academically to advance his future?
Yeah, he was in some online school and getting I don't know if it was his PhD or his master's degree.
Okay. Are you aware of whether or not Keith actually finished that master's degree?
I believe he graduated, yes.
Okay. Do you know whether or not he was studying for any other types of certifications or the like?
I know that he was always doing something, but yeah, he was always, I'm not sure what he was, but he was always involved with something as far as whether it was certifications for the the exterminator business, or whether it was just trying to further his education for getting knowledge and certificates for the web services that he had,
okay,
or the web business.
Now, some of those AWS jobs you discussed earlier, I mean, obviously you viewed the job requirements and stuff when you were on the computer with Keith?
Yes.
And do some of those jobs or all those jobs have certain requirements as far as certifications and
correct
education?
Yes, of course.
Now, going back to that dinner at 618 in Freehold, was there a point in time based upon the conversation you and Keith were having that you kind of provided a piece of advice to Keith?
I did.
And what was it?
I told Keith he needed to start worrying about himself and his family, stop supporting everybody else.
And when you said everybody else, do you recall whether or not you mentioned Paul?
It was Paul, specifically, yeah.
Now, so you finished dinner, where do you go?
Back home, pick up Jesse, and then he went.
So ultimately, did Keith and Jesse leave your home that night?
Correct.
Again, last time you saw them?
That's the last time I saw him, yes.
Now, unfortunately, I want to draw your attention to November 20th, 2018, a couple days later. Remember that?
Yes.
Was there a point in time, and again, I just want to let you know, I'm not asking you to tell us what other people told you, but was there a point in time where you were alerted to something going on at Keith Caneiro's house?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the nature of what was going on at the house?
My wife had called me. I was working at the time in Cranberry, New Jersey, and she had called me and said that Keith's house was on fire, that the neighbor had called her to let her know that there was smoke coming out of the house.
Okay. Do you know whether or not your wife then went anywhere?
She went to the house.
Okay. When you say the house, which house was that?
Keith's house.
Okay. And you said you were at work in Cranberry, correct?
Correct.
What did you do? What, if anything, did you do based upon that conversation with your wife?
I started calling Keith. Keith Caneiro, yeah.
Were you able to make any telephone contact with him?
No.
Did you attempt to message him or anything
I
like that?
started texting him as well.
Okay. Now, did he answer the text messages?
No, he did not.
Was there a point in time when you were involved in texting with both Keith Caneiro and Paul Caneiro?
Yes.
Okay. Again, Keith didn't respond, correct?
Correct.
Did you trade text messages at some point November 20th with Paul Caneiro?
I did.
Okay. Now, if I may approach, Judge.
You can.
Mr. Paolucci, I'm just going to show you what's been marked as S8 for identification. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what is that?
Phone calls.
Okay. Now, I don't want you to read anything else other than I'm just going to ask you a question. On this one column that says parties, do you see any names do you see your name or someone else in your family's name?
I see my wife's name on here.
Okay, and what's that?
Salome Paolucci.
Okay. Now, the phone number attached to Salome Paolucci is whose phone number?
That's my phone number.
Okay, so is that the phone that you used back in November 20th, 2018?
It is.
Okay. Was your wife the subscriber?
She was.
Okay. Now, you said that you made phone calls to Keith Caneiro, correct? Did you also attempt to make phone calls to Paul Caneiro?
I did.
Okay. And is that what's reflected on that call log?
Yes.
Okay. How many phone calls does it say were made?
Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5.
So we got 1, correct?
1.
Number 5, entry 5, right?
Still with us, criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. Josh, I want to talk about what you think the import of this testimony is, because this is clearly someone who knows the family, who is a good family friend. He was able to text both Paul and Keith. He went over there for Easter, for birthdays, and talking about, you know, the fact that he told Keith, you really need to stop worrying about everybody else. You need to take care of yourself, and that he might have been moving on, looking for a new job even.
Getting in front of facts, filling out all of those details, allowing it to register and encode on the jury's brain what the family relationships were like at the beginning of the trial. We talk all the time about primacy, recency, all those issues. Getting the opportunity to fill the juror's brain with good conclusions that benefit your theory of the case is always going to be welcome. It's also good kind of here later in the day. We might have some jurors who have gone through a lot. This has been big stuff. So you've got some timing and some artistry about how you're going to lawyer in defense or in prosecution of your case. And that's exactly what's happening here. I like this kind of testimony because it's not picking a fight testimony. There's no gotcha. This is just good stuff to listen to so you understand more.
Yeah, and he's a great witness, the way he's sort of delivering the information. You can tell that he knew him well, he liked him. So all those things are coming across very well. I want to talk about the defense and how they handle a guy like this. At the end of the day, he knows the family. There's this other brother out there, Corey, that we heard about in opening statements. Haven't heard much about him at all. Do you start peppering him in some of these cross-examinations for other people who may have known him? How do you sort of handle introducing this guy? You mentioned him in openings. You're kind of pointing the finger at him saying, he was more desperate than me. You got to look at him. How do you begin introducing that to this jury?
Probably one of the hardest things that the lawyers are going to have to do is, on the defense side, is inject this brother without over or underselling. They've got to hit this very fine line of, hey, there's this other person that didn't get investigated thoroughly that we think had something to do with it, but we're not going to obviously make allegations because there's the brother. We don't really have a bunch of proof. So it's building this thing that everyone realizes they're eventually going to point to that brother as the reasonable doubt. But you've got to be careful in how you construct that role of the third party, the empty chair. If you over or undersell it, you're going to turn people off. The defense needs to build the mini tribe within those 12 jurors that will stand up and say, hey, we're not going to let a conviction flow.
Yeah.
And Paul, I think, very angry if he really did all these different things that he's accused of doing.
I feel like you have to show me some evidence that he was not only hiding money or stealing money, but angry at his brother.
I think
Something
we're
along
going
that
to
line?
hear something.
I don't know.
I
All right.
agree.
Schiffer, thank you so much for joining us. Josh, thank you. Really appreciate it as